everyone, it's Amanda. We haven't done a living in Mexico video in a while, so we figured we would bring you along for a field trip. We are currently in Tonalá, which is a neighborhood in Guadalajara, Mexico, looking at furniture and artisanal things, which Mexico is famous for. So make sure to subscribe to this channel so you can get more living in Mexico videos. We also have tons of other videos coming out on this channel having to do with business and being an expat and an entrepreneur. Make sure to subscribe and give it a like. And without further ado, let's get into Tonalá. All right, we seem to have found some Dia de los Muertos dolls. It is about to be Dia de los Muertos here. So pretty. Yes. Okay, so here is a tip if you are moving to Mexico or Guadalajara, Mexico specifically. So we just went into a furniture store in Tonalá and we saw a dining room set that looked identical to dining room sets that they were selling on Facebook Marketplace out of, where was it, Tequila?
Yeah.
So out of Tequila.
They're about 3 times the price. This one here was around 15,000 pesos. And the one that we were looking at that we saw online was only like 4,100. I think 4,500 with the design that we want.
So can you do a conversion real quick for the Western audience?
Like 18 to 1 now, so it would have been like 4 times 4 of them. Like roughly $235 for the one we saw online versus almost 800 for this one.
But it's almost identical.
It's exactly
It's pretty much exactly the same. So quick tip when you are looking for furniture, or at least in Guadalajara, Facebook Marketplace is your friend. This is beautiful. This is what I think of when I think of Mexico, you know?
Pretty. It was... There's space here.
Okay, so what did they just explain about this amazing table? And
So,
chairs.
This table comes from a tree on the outskirts of Guadalajara, and the tree is usually about 100 years old. This table here is actually solid wood. It's made from one single cut, about 4 meters long, but this is made from one single cut of wood that they then, I guess, protect and laminate however they do it. But this isn't like any kind of particle board or any separate cut, like one single cut from a giant tree. You can imagine how big this tree has to be for this one piece to come out at about 4 meters long.
I have to say I'm pretty obsessed with the chairs. I mean, they're just amazing.
Yeah.
One of the best pieces we've seen today, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
It's beautiful. And how much did they say it was, just so people have an idea?
This table, en la mesa, ¿cómo es? ¿En cuánto? 70,000. So, see, the table itself is about 70,000 pesos, so like around 4K, more or less, USD. But this in the US would probably be like a lot more.
What?
And they could change the chairs are separate. They're about 5,000 pieces. And they could make them in any kind of color.
Okay, we are currently looking at little shops to find. There's a bunch of side streets, there's furniture stores. How are you feeling about Tonalá so far?
It's nice. They have a lot of very cool art. What do you call it? Artisanal. Like,
Artesanales. Artesanal.
a lot of like handmade, really, really high quality stuff. Like the table that we saw earlier that was made from a single slab with a tree. That was pretty cool.
And the chairs were amazing. So it was like this, they called it elegant rustic, or rustic elegance is how you would say it in English. Rustic elegance. Something like that in English. But yeah, there's some really, really stunning, really pretty things. We were sending video to my mom, and she's like, oh my gosh, there's folklore everywhere. There's some really interesting, beautiful things here. And we are on to the next adventure in Tonalá. All right, it seems we have succeeded in our Tonalá adventures. We have found most of the furniture that the house needs. It's what I said in the last clip. You can't do the main street in Tonalá because everything's more expensive, although absolutely gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, so fun. Go have an adventure. But if you're looking for a deal, you got to go to the off streets or the side streets in Tonalá, and you can find really, really good deals. So we were able to find a dining room set, a headboard for the bed, a base for the bed, nightstands. We didn't need closets or burros. What's a burro in English? I forget English words, and sometimes I forget words in Spanish. I'll put a picture because I can't remember what it's called in English right now. But anyway, we didn't need that because we have built-in closets in the house. So anyway, we found all of that and a couch. Is that it? Did I get everything? Yeah, I think that was everything. And the headboard's actually going to be custom. Like, I just picked the color of the headboard and the wood and everything. So they're actually tallying things up now. And then I'll tell you what it's costing, including delivery, about an hour from here to the neighborhood where we live. All right, hi everyone. We are in traffic in Guadalajara on our way back home from Tonalá. We're going to check on the electricians to make sure everything got done. We didn't talk about it on the channel because it was such insanity, but we're going on day 7 of electricians fixing the electrical system in the house
That we rented. This is not our own house. This is a rental still.
Yeah.
But that's how it happens sometimes. Fix up the house even if you're renting it.
Right. Well, we'll talk about that in a podcast with our pros and cons of living in Mexico. That would be a con. But a pro is we did actually find really nice furniture at a really good price. So it almost makes up for all the insanity. So what were your first impressions of Tonalá when we got there?
I thought that it was a little bit overrated. So I was expecting very, very modestly priced furniture, like a lot cheaper than what you would see kind of on Marketplace or some of the other places online or whatever, because you go there in person and you think that they make it right there. But it seemed like the only mistake we really made first got there was we were just kind of hanging out on the main street, but the real deals were actually on the side streets. So if you go kind of off the beaten path a little bit, the main street is like, well, which makes sense. It's kind of like, what's the avenue in Beverly Hills with all the
Rodeo Drive.
Like Rodeo Drive.
It's the Rodeo Drive of Tonalá.
Gucci and Prada and everything. We were on the Rodeo Drive of Tonalá, Jalisco. But when we went off to the side streets, there were definitely more reasonable prices. And we were able to get an entire bedroom set, kitchen set, living room set for the same price of one table on the main street when we went on one of those little shops that was kind of off the beaten path a little bit.
That includes delivery and the bed set. They have to do some custom stuff to it. So how much was it total for expats who are considering Guadalajara? And they're like, oh my God, I gotta go find furniture.
Yeah, total it was about 21,000 pesos, which today translates to about $1,150 with delivery for everything.
So What I did not like about Tonalá was like in some, like you said, on the main street and some of the stores, you would find stuff that you could find on Facebook Marketplace for like $200, and then they were trying to sell it for like $1,000, right? And I kind of insisted on going to Tonalá because I was like, I'd like to see the stuff that we're going to be buying, if it's furniture, and like sit on it and test it and make a field trip out of it. Aren't you glad we did?
Yeah, it was fun. It was nice to get out.
It was fun. It was a nice adventure. So I didn't like that. What I did like about the main street was once you got into like the more custom places, like people who did custom furniture and custom designs, then it got really cool. Then we found some really cool pieces on the main street, and then not that we would buy, but that we could enjoy and adore and look at and gawk at and appreciate. And then to your point, once we started getting into the side streets of Tonalá, that's when we started finding some deals. So we got most of the house figured out, and then the next project's going to be a studio, so we can record videos and podcasts in a designated area instead of his office. So that'll be the next project. Make sure to subscribe. We found a few pieces that could work for the studio. One of the places that we went to, they were custom making wood furniture in the store. Like, we were watching them do it, which is pretty cool. So anyway, if that's something that interests you, make sure to subscribe. We'll do like a house tour. We'll do an update, all that kind of stuff since the last video. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!